Russell Brand has replied to the allegations made against him in a video that has just been published on social media. He said that it has been an extraordinary and distressing week after the allegations were made, and he went on to thank his followers for their support and questioning information that they have been presented with. Brand responded to claims against him, which were first made public last weekend and published by the Sunday Times and Channel 4's Dispatches. A joint investigation by the Times, the Sunday Times and Channel 4's Dispatches had 4 women accusing Brand of assaults of a non-consensual nature, as well as rape, between 2006 and 2013. After receiving a letter and an email on this subject, Brand denied the claims before the allegations were published, saying that his relationships were always consensual. He did not address the allegations directly in his 3-minute video, but he made claims about what he described as media corruption and censorship and deep state corporate collusion. He said he would release a full video on the Rumble site on Monday, saying the platform had made a clear commitment to free speech. For those of you that don't know, Rumble is a similar format to YouTube, but with less censorship. It's obviously much smaller than YouTube, but it is gaining popularity. Earlier this week, responding to a UK Parliament committee that asked if it would cut Brand's income in the wake of the allegations, Rumble said it would not join a cancel culture mob. So what exactly is Brand being accused of? The investigation by the Times, Sunday Times and Channel 4's Dispatches had 4 women making allegations against Brand. One woman alleges that Brand raped her without a condom in his Los Angeles home. She went on to say that Brand tried to stop her leaving until she told him she was going to the bathroom. She was treated at a rape crisis centre on the same day, which the Times says it has confirmed via medical records. A second woman in the UK alleges that Brand assaulted her when he was in his early 30s and she was only 16 and still at school. She alleges he referred to her as the child during an emotionally abusive and controlling relationship. This is the one where he sent a chauffeur to pick her up from school, allegedly, and then, according to her, forced him to have oral sex with him, despite her repeated protests, until she gagged. She was only able to get him off by punching him in the stomach. She added, looking back, he engaged in the behaviour of a groomer. A third woman claims that Brand sexually assaulted her in Los Angeles. She alleges that she repeatedly told Brand to get off her, and when he eventually relented, he flipped and was super angry. She says he threatened to take legal action if she told anyone else about her allegation. A fourth claim was made by a woman who says she was sexually assaulted by Brand in the UK, and him being physically and emotionally abusive towards her. This week, another woman has come forward and accused Brand of exposing himself to her and then laughing about it minutes later on his BBC radio show in 2008. She says he followed her into a room and then exposed himself to her whilst making lewd suggestions while she was in front of him on her knees looking for something in a cupboard. She did not report it at the time, as victims often don't due to the trauma. But when a work colleague was told about it, he reported it to the BBC in 2019. To the best of my knowledge, the BBC never followed up or investigated this claim. This topic seems to have polarised society. On the one hand, there are those that think he's guilty and have condemned him based solely on the reports they have read in the media. On the other hand, there are those that think this is a conspiracy to shut him down because of his radical views. My views are probably a little bit more complex. First and foremost, though, any allegations of non-consensual assault in any form must be taken absolutely seriously and thoroughly investigated. There are those that say the women concerned should have gone to the police at the time and not gone to the media, or as some have suggested, not gone to the media for the money. In response to this, first of all, to be a victim of such an assault is very traumatic, and the victims are often too traumatised to go to the police. Then couple this with the low conviction rate, which is about 1%, I think, and in the event of a court case, the details coming out, which their friends and family can sit in court and listen to, and even though they're a victim, they will feel thoroughly ashamed about them. And from what I gather from my research, the victims didn't go to the press, the journalists came to the victims. The journalists have been hearing certain rumours through third parties and decided to investigate. This investigation was 4 years in the making, suggesting that the journalists had to be tactful and over a long period of time convince the victims of their sincerity and give their assurances of protecting their identity. Secondly, I don't agree to trial by media, but unfortunately it's an inevitability of this day and age. The advantage of publishing this story is that if there are other victims, they may be emboldened to come forwards. This is the case with the 5th victim. This was also the case with Jimmy Savile, whose victims came forward in their hundreds after his death, and also Rolf Harris and a few other celebrities. I think Stuart Hall was another one. On the other hand, it will stain Brandt's name if he's innocent. My argument against it being a deep state operation to shut him up is that this investigation was 4 years long, with 5 journalists working on it. Now, I don't think it's beyond the powers that be to do something like this at all, but I'm sure they could have managed it in less than 4 years. Since these allegations have come out, other celebrities have also made allegations about Brandt's lewd and unacceptable behaviour, though not necessarily illegal. These include people like Lorraine Kelly, who said he made her feel uncomfortable during an interview on the Jonathan Ross show; Kathy Ryan, a comedian, who refused to work with him after an incident; Sarah Pascoe, another comedian, who because of his and other performers' behaviour talked about female comedians who got together and try and start a union of sorts to protect themselves from that; Kate Smurthwaite, who said that he was just one of many she could name of people in the industry who had a similar attitude towards women; and Vanessa Feltz, who claims Brandt told her he wanted to have sex with her together with her and her daughters, who were quite young at the time. Brandt said previously that in his book he stated that he told a warts and all story with regard to his addictions to drugs and sex, and it's certainly quite graphic. However, there is one sentence in the book that I remember which is slightly disturbing, and that is, if this is what I'm telling you, then imagine what I got up to that I won't tell you, or something similar. I can't remember it word for word. So, what do you think? What are your views on these allegations? Have your views changed in any way with the more information you've learned or not? Let me know in the comments. As usual, there'll be more updates if and when they become available.